everyone, I'm Tina Banks.
I'm Jeff Banks.
And welcome to our new show called Bankable Connections, where we create connections that create wealth. So on this first episode, we just wanted to take a moment to introduce ourselves and let you guys get to know us a little bit better because you'll be hearing from us each day this week.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, huh?
Well, I'm Jeff Banks, Jeff D. Banks from jeffdbanks.com. I have DIT, which is T with purpose. And transformation starts with T.
Yeah, I wish you had some samples to show. But we'll do that on Tuesday.
Right. My show coming apart from this one, it's podcast. It's called #Unblock Yourself. We just put out episode 479.
Very well done.
Proud of that. That's a little bit about it. We do purpose, talk about philosophy, T philosophies, and just connections.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
So what is your tagline?
T with purpose.
Okay.
And transformation starts with a T.
All
Starts with T.
All right. Awesome.
TEA. T. Starts with T.
Okay. I like that. TEA starts with T. TINA starts with T. All right. So we have been married for 30 years.
What about yours? You introduce yourself.
Oh, okay.
You trying to skip all that other stuff? You got to introduce yourself too.
Okay. Well, I'm Tina Banks. There we go. I'm married to the lovely, handsome Jeffrey. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay.
Okay, you've been married 30 years.
Yep. To the one and only. And through that union, we have 4 beautiful children.
3 boys and 1 princess.
1 princess, finally. I remember when we first met when I was 15 years old, and we were talking about having kids, yes, at that young age. And we said, yep, we want 1 boy and we want 1 girl. So
15.
well, when we met, I was 15. How about that?
Talking about having kids at no 15.
Not having kids at 15, but when I met you and we talked about having kids, we talked about having 1 boy and 1 girl, a total of 2 kids. And we were blessed double that with 4. Because we kept having boys and we did want a girl. So God finally blessed us at the end with a girl. And she's graduating high school this year. So she told us that we will not be empty nesters as long as she can help it. So we're grateful. I'm grateful that she's not leaving home.
Yeah, I don't know if she considers herself a daddy's girl, but that's my baby.
Yeah, everybody knows that. So today we just wanted to introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about mindset and a little bit about marriage, because people, when we tell people that we've been married for 30 years, sometimes the reaction is, oh my gosh, you guys don't look old enough to be married 30 years. And then sometimes the reaction is, well, how did you guys get to be married 30 years? And I think part of that is that we started younger, because most people do the traditional way. They go off to college, then they, get settled in their careers very good, and then marriage. And so that's later on in later 20s and early 30s. Whereas for us, I was married at the ripe old age of 19. So I think that's how in our 50s we're here at 30 years. So what has it been like for you, dear?
My opinion on that, I think we stayed together for so long because that was, like we were saying, the marriage mindset. Because we didn't want to do the things that, and no offense to my parents or your parents, but
No
we didn't want to
offense.
do the things that our parents did and split. And we were going to tough it out. And if we didn't make it, we probably never, like I said, I'm never going to get married again. That's not a negative thing, but you know, if it's not to her, I am not doing this again.
Well, yeah, we did have that conversation because we both come from divorced families, and I know the way that I grew up coming from a divorced family. I did not like that when it came to my parents having other relationships outside of each other, and we had to live in the homes with the others. You know, they loved them, but that doesn't mean me as a child loved them. So that was very important to me, and I think that was another reason that I got married at a young age, because I was ready to leave that life and start my own. That was a big lesson for me. And so we talked about it and we said divorce is not an option. No matter what, we just got to thug it out and do the best we can. And so that's what we have done.
Yeah, and also when there's a mindset shift where we are like, we're gonna do this no matter what, it gets a lot easier because you don't have plan Bs and things like that. Well, she said this, so I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. If you already know that you're gonna stay no matter what, then it's best to go ahead and resolve everything instead of just living with guilt or anger or whatever it is. Just work through it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I've learned, because I was young at 19, okay? I didn't know about this whole marriage thing. I just knew that I wanted to be married. I didn't want to shack up or do anything like that. And first and foremost, I knew this was my husband at a young age because I prayed. I had a list, and my list went like this: handsome, tall, light skinned, no drinking, no smoking, no cursing, love God first. Those were the things on my list that I wrote out. And as I was praying, God told me to look at the picture on my dresser, which Jeff had sent me a picture of himself from the military, and it was on my dresser. And he said, that's going to be your husband. Now, me and my flesh, I was like, okay, we're really good friends. I don't know if we're going to get married, but if you're telling me this now, I know that if you're telling me this, it's going to be right and it will last forever versus me just picking somebody random. How did it go for you? Did you have a talk with God about me?
No, not really. So my story is a little bit different from hers because of something, like I said, I wasn't walking with God all that well. I knew of him, but I wasn't walking with him. And there was something profound that she said that really like hit me real hard, which was that anything that we love above God, that he takes it away, especially like if we are his. So, and I think about all the things that I put before God, relationships or having money. If you put money before God, it ends up just disappearing. If you, love your car more than you love God, it gets a flat tire and you can't drive it or something like that. So I didn't want him to take her away. And I started to take him more serious. And the more serious I took him, the more he revealed to me. And the more he revealed to me, the closer I got to him. The more in love I've got to fall in love with Jesus. And then to see my relationship with my wife. And then after the kids, even a whole nother layer of love attached to that, or just spread on top of that. So that's kind of how it was with me. And like I said, the more closer we got, the better our relationship got. Yeah. So it's better now than it was when I proposed.
Yeah, and this whole thing has really been a learning experience for me. And I'm still learning, during these 30 years of how to be a wife, how to be a mom, how to cover my husband in prayer, how to cover my children in prayer, how to cover our business in prayer. So it's not an overnight anything. It's always a journey, and it is a job. Learning how to do marriage and keeping God in the center, in the forefront, because Jeff used to do this street ministry, and I did not like it. I mean, I'm grateful for it now, and I'd be like, dude, let's do street ministry again. And he was just like, nah, that was like in the 90s. But he would be gone all the time. I was at home with a new baby, and I just wanted him at home. And he was like, no, we're going to have Bible study, and we're going to go baptize them in the pool. And I'm just like, why? Like, what? And I really didn't understand it like I do now. But God was doing the work. He was ministering to people and doing what we're here on this earth to do, and that's to minister, let our light shine, and save the lost. He left the 99 to go after one, and that's what we're supposed to do. And we are so grateful that first our daughter got baptized. You said, Ashley, and Quay did theirs already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They did theirs at Believers.
Oh, okay. Well, they got baptized at, being children, but as an adult decision. And our daughter, she's not going to be an adult until August, but she made the decision on her own to get baptized outside of us. So we were rejoicing about that. And then last week, our son made a decision as an adult outside of us to get baptized. So we are grateful and truly rejoice in their decisions to do that. So that's just a little bit about us. And we're just talking about mindset, in that in order to make marriages work, it can't be one-sided. It can't be, oh, it's my way or no way. It has to be a give and take. And that's one thing that I'm still learning. Not saying I've perfected it by any means, but in my prayers that I pray is that I'm better the next day than I was the day before with it. So what are some things that you can suggest to maybe someone that's thinking about getting married, or someone, maybe they're 2 years in and they're thinking that they may not make it another year? Is there something that you would say to them?
As far as mindset goes, I would say between a husband and a wife, especially if it's a God-centered family, the other spouse is usually right. So, but it's the way we're receiving it. And like I said, when you're working on yourself, when you're trying to go through a mindset shift, I hear the things that she says, and most of the time they're right, but I'm not receiving it the right way. And when I sit back and I step back and I start to reflect and like, okay, she said this, am I really taking things out of context, or am I not seeing the way things that she's seeing it? And most of the time, I'll say 99% of the time that she's right. So I'm like, I might not act the way she probably wants me to, because like I said, I'm being hard-hearted or stiff-necked. But in the back of my mind, or when I go back to reflect, or I pray and I listen, she was saying this. You just took it the wrong way. And once you get past these things, like I said, the more you walk with him, he starts to show you, hey, you wrong. How many times have I sat in the mirror and just looked at him and was like, man, you're wrong. And go ahead and just suck it up and just get past it. And most things work out. She'll tell me something that that she wants me to do, and I'm like, I can't do it. And she's like, yes, you can.
Every single time.
And if I do it, even though it might be out of spite, or I'm just doing it out of anger, I'm doing it and it works out. And I'm amazed at the end of it.
100%. It ain't even like 99.9% of the time. It's 100% of the time. I don't think you can even say one time that it was something that you really couldn't do.
But on the flip side of that, there's plenty of things that I might suggest and I don't have time for it. Not that she can't do it, but I don't have time for it.
Well,
So-
I'm a big delegator, okay? So
Yeah.
if it's something that I feel like I don't have time for, I'll still make a way to get it done.
My I don't have time card is expired. I can't use it at all. I'm never able to use it.
Never.
So
Because you won't delegate it. But see, if you learn that delegation skill, you'll see, oh man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt, y'all, that says "No delegation to me." So
And I wear it. How about that? So, what else?
that's it from me.
We just winging it. We on a, just without off the cuff, no notes, because this is our first time. Well, we've done some videos before, but this is something that we're going to be consistent with. And typically, we won't even attempt to do a video. You want me to tell you why? Because I like notes and scripts and bullet points and to know what I'm going to be saying. And this right here, off the cuff, every time.
The reason that is because I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about.
Not passionate about marriage.
And I'm talking.
So let's talk about what you're passionate about.
We'll do that next episode.
Okay. We'll get to it. But, I know relationships are different just depending on what everybody believes in. So it was very important to me to put God first. And in doing that, you do get attacked, when you're trying to stand for what is right. And, the devil wants to weave his way in. But you have to daily put on armor. Daily, plead the blood. Daily recite Psalms 91 for full protection against the wiles from the evil one. So that is something that we do say every day. After we put on the whole armor, protect us from the wiles of the evil one, and no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So, with that said, Bankable Connections episode 1 is in the books, and stay tuned for Tuesday.
Tuesday.